Okay, hey guys, it's Jennifer or Crocheting Stitch back finally with another video. It has been a really long time since I've made a video. There has not been anything, sorry, that's a neighbor's car. There's not been anything crazy or tragic that's happened that's made me not make a video. It's just life stuff, camera stuff, but I'm here and I've got a bunch of stuff to show you. Not everything that I've worked on since the last time I made a video, because that would just be insane, but kind of a sampling of some of my stuff. So, as I said, I'm Jennifer, and this is a podcast about crocheting and knitting, and recently, well, not necessarily recently, I've had my loom for a long time. I've just not worked on it for a while. It took me a little while to get into it. So now weaving, and occasionally puppies and kittens. You will hear them more than you will see them, probably, because my puppy babies are too short, even with me sitting on the floor, to be seen in the camera unless they climb on me. You might see them walking in the background, and the cats are kind of camera shy. So, and they will probably bump into the camera, but, you know, we do what we do. They're my babies. And this is Lola. You've seen her before. She's the crazy girl. She's just crazy. So anyway, it's not what you came here for, right? But, yeah, so it's not really, there's no big story about why I haven't been on in a while. I just haven't been in the mood, I guess, and my camera, I couldn't find the battery or couldn't find the charger. It was just one thing after another. And then I had a bit of a problem with YouTube took off their editing software because not very many people were using it. Well, I was one of the very few people, I guess, who were using it. So I don't really have a video editing software to put my videos together. Which is why I'm recording on my iPhone, because if my iPhone breaks my video into clips because it's too long, what I can do is just make an iMovie and smush them together, so I don't have to worry about it. For some reason, my tablet, which is an Android device, doesn't have like a... Obviously, it doesn't have iMovies because it's not an iPhone product, but it doesn't have like Galaxy Movies or whatever that's an equivalent that I can find. So yeah, but I'm dealing with it. Hopefully someday I'll get some, I just want some super easy software that I can put videos together. I don't care about super editing or anything like that. Yeah. Mr. Henry, hey, could you come here? Don't knock the camera over, please, baby. If you hear that in the background, the cat making that noise, that is Gus and Lola wrestling on the floor. She's not hurting him. He likes it. He comes and jumps on her, and then she jumps on him. It's like a whole thing. So anyway, let me get to some of the things I have finished. Again, these are not all of the things I have finished since the last time I talked to you guys, but I didn't want to dig out everything, and to be honest, I can't even remember what I showed you. So here we go. First thing I'm going to start with, let me gather them, is I've done several, these are not all of them, these are just the ones I could find at the last, just in the last few minutes. I've done several dishcloths. I've been posting them on Instagram. My Instagram handle or whatever is Crocheting Stitch. But I've been posting them with the Yarn Hoarder podcast. She's doing the dishcloth challenge. It's called, the hashtag is Yarn Hoarder Dishcloth Challenge, I believe. So I've just been making them, and as I've made them, I've been posting them. I'm nowhere near however many that she has done or that some of the people on there have done. But there's one. This one is knit, and this is just the grandma's favorite dishcloth without the holes. This one is the same. It's this out of the same yarn. This is mostly, all of this is going to be either Lilies and Cream or Peaches and Cream, I think is the name. This one, I accidentally pulled out a couple stitches. but I can fix that. This is crochet. It's out of that same yarn, but this is just a granny square crochet dishcloth that I made. And when I crochet, I do kind of have to, after I wash them, I kind of have to block them out a little bit because they do kind of smoosh in a little bit. And I'm going to add a green border around this one. This one's not all the way done. So it's kind of a almost finished object. And offo? I don't know what that would be. This is not variegated, and I did make a little mistake. You can see it right here. But this is striped green and purple yarn in that Grandma's Favorite. And what I did here, the reason this stripe is thicker, is I accidentally forgot to pick up the green. I forgot which stripe I was on. And I was just knitting away, and then I was like, oh well, whatever. It's okay. I think it's still cute. It almost kind of looks like I did it on purpose. If anybody asks, we'll tell them I did it on purpose. And this is just, I did post this one on Instagram and have quite a few people ask me about it. This one I did with a corner to corner type pattern. There's no set pattern really. It's just corner to corner. And I did like, I think 7 or 8 little squares or lines before I started decreasing in the corners. So I do like the way that one turned out, the way it's striped up. I think that was really cute. And then here is another, this one was an experiment, kind of a failed experiment because of this corner. If you can see, I didn't do the decreases correctly. With this one, I wanted to do a different kind of border. And this is actually, it does have the holes, but with this border, I knit. Let's see. No, I did knit and I knit one row, crocheted, or knit one row. Can you hear that? They're having a spaz. Every so often, they start chasing each other. Anyway, they haven't done that all day, and as soon as I sit here, they start that. But I would knit and I would knit one row, purl one row, just on the edging, and somehow that caused a weird corner where I stopped. So I don't know. I probably won't do that one again, but it was fun. I'm gonna have several. I've got quite a bit of cotton yarn, and I don't really like working with it that much. So I might make a few and then I stop to do something else because honestly it does hurt my hand, even though I've gone up a couple needle sizes, which does help. Had to pet the butt, sorry. Not my butt, the dog's butt. I made a hat. I knitted a hat. I'm so excited about this hat. So this is the second, I think, hat that I've knit. The first one turned out way too big. And I might have shown you this one the last time, but I can't remember. This is out of some Caron Simply Soft. And I hope the light's not too bright. I have the windows open because it was dark in here. But this is some Caron Simply Soft. And I think I did pretty freaking good for my second hat. It does fit on my big head, but it will also fit on other people who have smaller heads. So, and this is just a, this pattern is, it's the Yarn Hoarder. I guess I'm going to talk about her for every 5 seconds in this one. This is just her standard beanie pattern that I found, I heard her talk about on her podcast, and then I just went to her Ravelry page and found it. It's super easy, good instructions. I liked it. So yeah, I'm not gonna put it on my head. I look stupid in hats, but I am making out of the same yarn like a cowl to go with it. So it's super soft. I love Caron Simply Soft. The next hat I did, same pattern. I did maybe a few less rows down here with the ribbing, but I think I did pretty good. You can't even hardly see the decreases, but I think I did pretty good on the decreases here as well. This is just some scraps. I believe this is Red Heart, but it's kind of a like a heathered maybe, where it's got these flecks of other colors in it. So I did that. So it's pretty. I'm so excited that I can knit hats now. The only problem I have is in the decrease when I have to switch to, well, when I do switch to double pointed needles, they're kind of unwieldy, I guess. Maybe just because I'm not used to it, but they're just almost too long in my hands. So, but yeah. I did get some small circulars so that I can go even farther before I have to switch to double pointed needles. And that helped me on this one for sure. So, oh, I don't know what, it's been so long, I'm not sure what size needles I used for a lot of these. I'm really sorry. But it was, I can tell you that I used the recommended needle size for the pattern, for the Yarn Hoarder pattern, whichever one she said to use. So I used, what I did with it, and then I took the same yarn, because I had quite a bit, and I made an Addie scarf on the big Addie to match the hat, because when I do the craft fair at the church, people really like to have hats that match their scarves, especially when they're giving them for gifts. And then at the end, what I did, because I wanted it to match, is I took, this is very adventurous for me, and it turned out pretty good in my humble opinion. I wonder if I turned a little bit, it wouldn't be quite so obnoxiously bright. Let me see. Let me turn you guys a little bit. Maybe that might be a little better. But I took, whoop, bye-bye. Like I said, I'm using my iPhone, and my tripod does not like my iPhone. It kind of acts like it's too heavy, which is crazy because my camera is obviously heavier than my phone, so I don't know. Technical difficulties. I'll just scooch back some more. But, so what I did, yeah, you can see that pretty good, is I picked up, so I cast on with waste yarn. I did not cast off, and I'll tell you about that. So I cast on with waste yarn, and when I was done, I picked up from the waste yarn, I picked up and I knit a rib section at the bottom, and it does draw it in a little bit, but to me I think that's cute because the hat does the same thing. And then on the other end, you can't really even tell which end is which, but on the end that I think this is the other end, I'm pretty sure, and I'll tell you why. So on the other end, what I did was, it's really too hot. It's like 90 something degrees. But on the other end, what I did was, instead of casting off with waste yarn and then picking up the stitches off the waste yarn or whatever, I just went through, and on the Addie, you have to, you pick them up, the stitches. You pick up the stitches with a needle, and you can bind it off like that. Well, instead of picking it up with the yarn needle and binding it off, I picked it up with my knitting needle and just slid the stitches onto my knitting needle. And then I just knit on there. Does that make sense? So it's easier for me to do that than to try to put it on waste yarn, take it off waste yarn, because even though, like, I've done waste yarn on the Addie, and I have done a provisional cast on another hat, and I will show it to you, I have a hard time. I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed and I don't necessarily knit or crochet exactly like a right-handed person does, the correct way or whatever, but my provisional cast on yarn or my waste yarn doesn't always want to come out really easy. It's a fight. I have to cut it in multiple places. So if I don't have to do that, I don't want to. So there's that one. Excuse me. Pardon me. The air quality today, I think, is super bad. So if I sneeze or if I sound snotty, you know. This is the first hat I made, and I told you that I made it super big. It's too big. Like, it's even like, it's too big for me. Like, it could be a slouchy, or if you have like dreadlocks, it would fit as like a loose hat. But still, I think I did pretty good on the decreases. This is the Yarn Hoarder pattern, same pattern. I don't know, I think I was using the wrong needle size maybe, or I think I cast on too many. Something I did wrong with this one. It was my fault, not the pattern's fault. But it still turned out, still think I did pretty good, even if I say so myself. Stitch, don't be in the products, sir. Don't be in the products. Not products. Items, finished. Yeah, finished items. Come here. This is Stitch. He hates to be picked up. Hates it. He's so grumpy all the time. Well, he's very sweet, but he does not like to be picked up. Nobody's ever dropped him, but he acts like he's petrified somebody's going to drop him. So the next hat, I made several hats. So the next hat I made a patterned hat. This one did not turn out exactly. And, you know, I don't have a problem with that because it was my first patterned hat. And I'm going to tell you, I have a hard time following patterns. Somehow, well, following, like, I don't know. Like, it's not just patterns. It's following these the kind of patterns where they're supposed to turn out into some kind of picture or some kind of, like, you know, like it's supposed to look like leaves or whatnot. I have a hard time with those. I think it's just because I'm not a super experienced knitter. Oh, you can see this one turned out good. This one, there's a couple of them that didn't. I got off somehow. I do that. I get off somehow on the stitches some places. But to be honest, it's a learning experience. This hat to me is a little bit short. I followed the directions, but I may have just not, I think I needed more at the top or more at the bottom. I feel like it's too short. You know, I mean, I guess it's not, it's like, I'm wearing my ponytail, but for my big head, it's a little short, I think. But for a kid, I think it would work. Just, I probably have horrible hair now, but for a child, I think it would work good. And it's still super cute and super soft. All of these I have to wash again before I go to the crafts fair this year because the dog keeps sniffing at them and gets dog hair on them. So, next hat. I promise I only have this one and one more hat and then I'm done with hats. I tried my hand at making a CC beanie. And I think it turned out pretty good. Again, it's big. I don't know. It's just big. But, I think it turned out really cute. And this I did a provisional cast on. And I had to, so the brim is thick and squishy. And then I had to pick up the stitches and do it and I did pretty good. That was my very first time doing that. This is Red Heart, just some Red Heart gray. I think it's the Dove gray. It's the same color I was making that sweater out of. And I don't know if I told you last time or if it was I don't think I did. I have pulled that sweater out, or that cardigan. It was the palette cardigan. It wasn't its fault. I am just not, I don't think right now, confident enough in my knitting ability to tackle that. It's just such a large thing and it kept turning out way too big. So I think either my gauge is super loose or the yarn I was using was thicker than the yarn they were using. I don't know. But I will come back to that pattern because I really do like it. And technically, the technical stuff I think I can handle. It's the sizing I need a little bit more experience with. So, but yeah. So this turned out pretty good. And this pattern is just, if you look up, it's called Copycat CC Beanie, I think is what it's called. Mine is a little bit different than the pattern because what I think I noticed it was getting super duper too big and slouchy for me, so I did stop. I don't think I did as many repeats. Like I said, my hair is up in its ponytail, but it's cute, but it is slouchy even with my hair ponytails right here. If you can see that, it is still super slouchy, but it's super comfortable, especially with this folded brim. I like that. I will probably make more of these in the future. It was not that bad. It's just basically, if you can knit and purl and decrease, you can make one of these. Because I don't have that many, like my skill set is not crazy or anything with knitting. I'm a newbie. I would consider myself a newbie knitter, for sure. I'm more of an intermediate, I think, crocheter for sure, but with knitting, I'm still like, I don't know. So the last hat that I have to show you is just a crochet hat. It's a Better Late Than Never beanie. My favorite crochet beanie ever. I love making these. They're so easy and so fun because you can just make so many different variations with the pattern or with the colors, and then I do different bottoms. You've seen me do a whole bunch of bottoms. This is just that same kind of heather, I almost think it's called Dove Gray, and it's either a Red Heart Jumbo or a Karen 1 pound. It's one of those two. It's probably a Karen 1 pound because they have more colors in Karen 1 pound at my Joann's than they do in Red Heart. So, and this is just a purple, just a scrappy purple. So this is, I have so many pieces because I pulled that sweater out. But it is what it is. So I have this one, and then I made, if I can find it, well, okay, so I made two because you have two hands, but I don't know where the other one went. But I made a hand warmer, and there's not really a pattern for this. I've made several of these. This does still have the strings on the inside that I need to kind of trim, so, but you can't see them from the outside, but I'm going to trim them up. So I made a hand warmer, and in the same kind of, I kind of matched it a little bit here, same kind of stripey thing. And these are actually fairly reversible. It doesn't matter, really. I could put it on my other hand. And then I did the same kind of front post, back post, double crochet for my whatchamacallit, my little ribbing at the bottom. So really, I would say that it goes on this hand a little bit better. Maybe, I don't know. This is not, this kind of looks like the seam, but it's not. I really don't even know. I don't think that's this. It's honestly, I have seamed it up so wonderfully that I don't remember where I put the seam, to be honest. I think the seam is in the purple. I would say it's right here because this purple line is a little bit thicker than the rest. I think that's where it is. But once you seam it up, you can't hardly tell. So I made those, and there are two of these somewhere. So, and then I made a infinity scarf to go with it. So it's a set. It's a, would you call it a 3-piece set because gloves are one thing together, or would you call it a 4-piece because there's 2 gloves? I don't know. But this is also the same kind of stripy pattern. So it's just, okay, so just like the hat, I've said this before, it's a double crochet and then a line of single crochet. That's all it is double and single. And then this is front post, back post, double crochet along the edge. Same as the hat, okay? And I probably did this, now I don't remember, but I almost always make my hats, scarves. I use anywhere from 5 to a 6.5. Those are the three. I use a 5, a 5.5, or a 6, really usually, millimeter crochet hook. Sorry, there was like some kind of banging. I don't know. It's getting close to the 4th of July, so it could be that people are doing poppers. But, so, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I use those 3 hooks. Those are my 3 hooks that I use for most anything. So, but really it doesn't matter for a scarf. So what I did was I basically made one super duper long scarf, and then I seamed it together. And when I seam things together, I do kind of a bulkier seam. It lays pretty flat, so it's not going to bother anybody. But I have this fear of them coming apart. So I will crochet across in a slip stitch to bind them together. And then I go back and I single or I half double back across. And it makes this ridge that you can kind of see. There you go. So you can see that ridge. So it makes that ridge. It's super soft because the yarn is super soft. So it doesn't really, it's not bothersome or anything. I just want to make sure that it doesn't pull and have a gap at the top. And I know that it won't. It most likely won't, even if I just double or just slip stitch across. But it's just a peace of mind type thing that I like to do. So there's that set. And the next finished things I have to show you are super exciting because I'm going to pick those up, by the way. Don't think I'm just throwing stuff on the floor. So the next things I have to show you are super exciting because they are shawls that I made on my loom. And if you've been following me on Instagram, you will have seen these because I do post on Instagram. Like I said, it's I am Crocheting Stitch. But if not, which is totally fine, I want to show you these anyway. After Mr. Gus gets out the way with his bushy tail. Gus, yeah, I know. So you have met Gus. He has gotten super big. Yeah, super big. He's still super lovable, but he's gotten giant. He's a big old kitten. He's not quite a year old yet. Actually, yes, he is. His birthday was in June, so he is a year old now. So maybe he won't get too much bigger, but he might. He's very vocal, so and super lovey. But anyway, so this is the first one that I took off my loom. I believe. I'm pretty sure this is either the first or the second. They look very similar. Let me kind of fold this so that you can see. I can't get far enough back. It's a giant shawl. It's a 7-foot shawl. So, it is done on the cut strand method. It's just a type of weaving method. There's cut and there's continuous. So that's kind of an overview of what it looks like. I have it just triangled up into a smaller triangle. So it's on a cut strand on a 7-foot loom, and it's got fringe and everything. It is super, super fun and cute to do. So I finally got my easel or stand, whatever you want to call it, for my loom, and that has made, I got fuzz everywhere. That has made such a difference. It's so much easier to work on that way. And you can either wear these like this. And I actually saw a lady that had hers styled kind of like, almost like a jacket. Like she had hers like pinned right here. I'm like, that's super cute. So, but you can do them like a shawl, or you can do it like a triangle, you know, like the scarf thing. I'm not going to put it all the way around because it's so big. So I've got that one. And then, of course, as soon as I pulled that one off, I had to make another one. I actually have 4. I don't remember making 4. Okay, so this is my next one. This was either my next one or my first one. I cannot remember to be exact. It's out of the same kind of yarns. Almost the exact same yarns as the first one. It's just got a little bit more blue in it. Same 7-foot setting. This one's a little thicker and a little heavier. So every time you do one with scraps, which is what I like to do, they turn out different. And you never know till the end exactly what it's going to look like. Here's another one. Now this one is smaller. This one's got a little pool down here. These are easy to kind of like shimmy back into shape. This is the next one. It's a little bit smaller. I believe I made this on my 6-foot setting. It could be my 5.5 foot because it seems longer than my wing. No, I bet it's a 6-foot setting because I'm like 5'7", and it's just about my wingspan, and they do shrink some. So this is just more scraps. It's super. I just love making these. They're so super cute. So stinking cute. And then the last one I have to show you is just 2 colors, and it made this neat like gingham almost type of pattern, and this is just out of straight like Red Heart Super Saver type yarn. This is straight acrylic. It has not been washed yet, so it is a little bit stiff. It'll be a lot more drapey once I wash it, but I think it's so stinking cute. I love the way that it patterned like that. So yeah, so those are my on my tri-loom. And that is all my finished objects. Now, I only have 2 works in progress to show you, because I've only really been actively working on these 2. And of course, one of them, I got stuff in my mouth, is in the middle of the row, because, you know, it couldn't be, well, it's not even, well, it's almost done, but I don't want to sit here and knit it to the end of the row. But it is a boneyard shawl. It's my very first boneyard. And it is a knit pattern. Let's see if I can hold it so you can see. I mean, you can see it pretty good. So this is in I Love This Yarn. And I have the ball band, so I'll show it to you in just a second. But this is a boneyard. And I Love This Yarn called Jazz Stripe. So it's a I Love This Yarn print. Which I don't know why they call it a print, because it doesn't really come in a print. But so yeah, so it's a boneyard. It is by Stephen West, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the only thing, let's see, this is on a US size 9 5.5 millimeter needle. The only thing I've done different is, and it's in the pattern, is instead of doing make one left, make one right, which I don't mind doing, but I don't love doing, it's in the pattern that you can do yarn overs for every make one left or make one right that's in the pattern. So that's what I did. So for the spine, if you could see it, this is of course the wrong side. It's all bound up. Hopefully I'll be done next time I show you a video. But for the spine of the shawl, it's got holes instead of being solid like it would if I made one right, made one left, or more solid. So that's what I'm working on. One of the items, and I'm almost done with the first skein, and so I've got to tie on the second pretty soon. The next thing that I'm working on, and this, I thought this would take forever, but I'm almost to the point where the patterning starts. So maybe it won't take forever. This is a pattern by Helen Stewart. It's not one of the new ones. I believe it's a shawl pattern from her, not the last Shawl Society, but maybe the one before. From all those hats, my hair is like whacked out. But anyway, this is the Alana, I think is how you say it, pattern. And it's really not much to talk about right now because it's just, I'm just in the knit section. It's just knit. So with the border, I love how she always usually has these kind of borders on her shawls. This is, I'm using a US size 5 3.75, so it's a small, these are small needles, because I am using loops and threads wool-like in the color beige. So original, but I would have called it more of a cream, to be honest, but beige is fine too. So this is one of her few patterns. I have some of these. I have this one and a red one, and I have a black one, and a blue. I have a couple blue that I want to use, but it's lace weight yarn, and there's not a lot of, she only has a couple of patterns that are lace weight patterns, and one of them is from the last Shawl Society that I'm still working on in that other yarn. So I don't know. I didn't want to start another one of those because I still have one on the needles somewhere that I need to pull out and just work on. It's not like I don't enjoy the pattern, but I guess because it's lace weight, I don't feel like I'm making as much progress, so then I just put it down. But for this one, I'm making quite a bit of progress right now. I'm about to come into the kind of leaf motif type part of the pattern. I've got a few more rows of this to go before I start that. But yeah, So that's what that is. Those are really the only two things I'm actively working on right now, other than I am working on a shawl on my tri-loom. To speak of that, or speaking of that, however you say that, I have just made a video, kind of a tutorial, my attempt at cut strand weaving on the tri-loom. And I haven't uploaded it yet, but I will probably pretty soon. It's like a part 1, and I'm going to do another part when I get a little bit farther along, and then maybe another part when I finish, because it takes a little bit of time to finish one of these shawls. I mean, it's on a 7-foot loom, and then you weave 1 or 2 strands at a time, so it takes a little bit of time. So I will probably have to make it in a parts video, like part 1, and then a little while later do part 2. But I just wanted to kind of get that up, because I haven't seen hardly any videos about cut strand method. And funny thing is, I did it on my giant loom, which is super hard to film the whole thing because it's 7 feet. Even though I have it set on the 5.5-foot setting right now, it's still giant and it's still far away from the camera when you see it. So I don't know why my super smart self didn't think about this, but I have a little 2-foot or 3-foot tri-loom that I don't ever use because it's too small to do a whole lot with. I'm like, why didn't I get that down and use it as an example? I don't know. So I might do that. It'd be easier to record, easier for me to get closer to the loom to show you what I'm doing. Or I might just stick with the one that I made, because I think you can see it pretty good if you're interested. If not, then don't worry about it. Other stuff that's going on, I have signed up to do a crafts fair in November outside. That's the only thing. So it's not the one that I have been doing the last couple years. It is a different one. I wanted to kind of expand my horizons a little bit. So it is a community crafts fair, and it's a larger event. So I will be having a tent outside. Will be November, so I'm a little bit like, ooh, but I do make cold weather stuff, so I can just bundle myself up and sell stuff right off my body. So I'm excited about that, and I will probably also sign up for the one at the church. Even though last year I didn't do as well. I think year to year you do different, but I don't think that they advertised it quite as well as they did the year before. Hopefully though, this year they'll get back on the ball with that. So I'll probably do that one again and sign up. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. Well, packing up and setting up and breaking down is not fun, but the whole selling part is fun. So I will probably do that again. My husband, there's fluff on the floor, sorry. I thought it was a bug, and I was like, oh God. My husband graduated from grad school, sort of, since the last time we talked. He did his graduation ceremony, but he still has 2 classes to take, because the school he goes to is small and private, as a small private school, so they only do a certain number of graduations. So if he hadn't graduated a month early, he would have had to wait all the way to December to graduate. So he didn't want to do that. I understand. So, but he's just got a couple more classes. He'll be done in August. So that's kind of some part of where I've been, because he has been working. He has a full-time job. He went from an internship to his full-time job. They hired him on. And then he's also goes to school at night, 2 nights a week, for 4 hours straight through, like so, and then I work full time. So it's been a little bit hectic around here, but yeah, so that's what's been going on. We're supposed to go this weekend up to the lake house with my parents. I will probably take the Boneyard shawl with me. Probably won't take the Helen Stewart one, just because I don't have the pattern printed out. I have it on my computer. My printer is currently out of ink, so I can't print it out. But anyway, so we're gonna do that, and that'll be fun. And then I've been on vacation. That was Mr. Gus trying to rub up against the the stand. I hope I didn't freak anybody out. But yeah, so that's what we're doing this weekend. That'll be fun. And then I have to go back to work. I've been on vacation, so then I have to go back to work on Monday. No, Cotton Gus. We call him Cotton Gus. I've already explained that before, but but yeah. So oh Lord. So yeah. So other than that, I've just been kind of hanging out, doing that kind of stuff. I did get to go to Hobby Lobby and hit up their yarn sale. I just got I Love This Yarn. There's a bag of it you can see right here. There's another bag. I put a little bit away, but that's a bag, and I've got another bag. So if you want to see that haul, just let me know. I mean, it's not really trying to keep him from knocking it over again. It's all I Love This Yarn prints, or you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you really are interested in seeing them, because I don't know that you can get them. I don't know why they clearanced them, if they're discontinued or what. So yeah. What else? I want to sit these on the floor because I don't want them to... I'll pick them up in just a second. Put them in my lap for now. Hoodlums. They're over here wrestling. But, oh, Lola just ran into my back. But anyway, the antics are starting to get crazy over here. So I'm probably going to wrap this up. Other things are... Oh yeah, so I usually tell you that you can look for more pictures, better pictures on Etsy, because I was posting just about everything that I made on Etsy. I have not done that in a while. I'm not sure that I'm going to stay with Etsy. They have upped their fees and such, and it's become kind of not necessarily, sorry guys. But anyway, so let me just wrap this up, because my husband keeps calling over and over again. Basically, Etsy's up their fees. It's not really conducive to making any money without having to charge you guys $1 million. So I may not do that anymore. But yeah, I'll figure it out. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.